Hey guys, it's Courtney Carter. So I wanted to share with you guys the beginning of our debt-free journey and kind of explain why we decided to go on this debt-free journey and where we are at with our debt and what kind of is motivating us to want to do this. I was able to pick up the Dave Ramsey Total Money Makeover book on, I believe it was a Black Friday deal that he was having. It was $10, and I looked at my husband and I said, we have got to get this book. Previous to that, I have been following the hashtag debt-free community and watching people pay off their debt, and I was amazed. I wanted to be a part of it, but I didn't even really know what it all meant. So when I was able to grab this book for just $10, I was super ecstatic, and I definitely started reading it right away, and my husband did as well. And what he was saying was making so much sense. It was a little scary. So we, are in a culture, the American culture teaches us to just swipe our cards, put it on a loan, pay for it later. It's kind of just pay on credit now and worry about it later at a later time. And a lot of times we end up getting really messed up and just in payments that were over our head. And it was really affecting our entire family and a lot of times our marriage, just because of this debt that we're carrying, because we feel like that we have to keep up with the Joneses, which is something that Dave Ramsey talks about in his book. You can also follow Dave Ramsey on his YouTube channel, and he talks a lot about what he talks about in his book, but he answers people's questions. But one of the things that he always talks about is that we are buying things to impress people that we don't even like. And that is something that definitely rings true, I'm sure, to so many of us, that why are we, going into debt over trying to impress people that we might not even really love that much. If people love us, they're going to love us for who we are and not for what we have. And I think that's something that our culture needs so badly to hear. And it's just something that, we don't hear enough. We have to impress others all the time. We have to have the nicer car, the nicer house, the bigger house, the better car. All of that keeps happening, right? The nicest clothes, the name brand clothes, all of that is such a big cycle that we are just stuck in. And trust me, I'm totally guilty, just like everyone else. I wouldn't say just like everyone else, but I am totally guilty of this too. And it has just been a huge wake-up call to read this book and really get some really good steps on how we can get out of this debt. This has been an accumulation of making bad money choices over a long period of time. This is not like an overnight thing, so you don't go into debt overnight usually. And that's one of the things that is talked about. You cannot get out of debt overnight as well. So this is why we are going on this debt-free journey, to get this stuff paid off and stop using our credit cards and stop using loans to pay for things. So that is our ultimate goal. So the reason that we really want to do this debt-free journey is to really change our family tree, to be able to educate ourselves and our kids, and to really just open up that space in our life where we can maybe make different decisions, where we're not caught up in having to work certain jobs or, in certain hours that limit us from being able to really live out our passions. So we just really want to open up that space. We would love to be able to have more flexibility in our life. So that financial freedom is something I think a lot of people are striving for, but really the way to really get financial freedom is to pay off all of that debt that we have. It definitely will help. It's not saying like you can just like quit your job after you're, have financial freedom, but it definitely gives you more of a reassurance, and it'll just open up for more just possibilities in your life that maybe you didn't even know would even be a possibility. So that is why we decided to go on our debt-free journey. So let me share with you guys kind of where we're at and what we're going to have to pay off to get debt-free. Okay, so our starting point is about, and this is all consumer debt. This does not include our mortgage. So this is medical bills, credit cards. This is a lot of just consumer debt. So this is consumer financing, this is car loans, and this is also student loans. So I have broken it out into different sections of what we're going to owe to give you a breakdown overall of in each section of how much we're going to have to pay off. The point is $111,795,000. So that is where we're going to start and what we're going to be working on paying off. Now, I haven't done the complete math of how much we're going to be able to do with our debt snowball, but I know it's probably going to take us anywhere from 3 to 5 years. It really just depends on what happens and how fast we can pay it off. But the ultimate goal, I would say, would be by 5 years that we have it all paid off, which is a little bit scary. But I think that with that Dave Ramsey's baby steps, that we are definitely going to be able to do this. It's going to take sacrifice and dedication, but if we stay on it, it definitely is possible for us to do. Okay, so the first category is medical bills, and these are recent medical bills, but also past medical bills. Unfortunately, we haven't had a health savings plan, which is something that we're definitely going to look at putting into place in the future when we get to baby step 3, if not before then, just because we really need that. So it's a little bit different than the flex spending. I didn't really want to get into the flex spending again because I've used it in the past, and it's worked okay before, but I had a little more control when I was a single mom. Now, being married and having multiple people, it's just a little bit harder to assess what we would need for flex spending. So I just haven't done that before. I haven't done that recently, but definitely want to do the medical savings. We have about $3,201 that we need to pay off for our medical bills, and that is over the past probably a few years that we've accumulated these medical bills, and because they've been so big and we haven't been saving for them, we just haven't paid on them, and that is not a good thing to do. We're not proud of it, but now it is time to really focus in and get them paid off. So the second category is credit cards, and we are definitely going to be having a credit card cutting party soon, and maybe I will end up videoing that as well. But the total in credit cards, we owe about $5,562.16. So that is accumulation of, I think it's about 5 cards altogether. So even though they're smaller balances, they're adding up, and they're creating that $5,000 in debt. So it's so easy to do, right? You have these little cards, but overall, it's actually a lot of debt to pay off. Consumer financing, we financed some furniture, and we also financed our windows on our house. So altogether, we owe about $5,683 in consumer financing in terms of, for our house. So those are things that we will have to pay off as well. Car loans is a little bit of a sore subject. So we ended up having to get 2 new cars pretty close together. We had some car issues, and I would say we definitely learned some lessons from some of the car things that we went through. Pretty much we're upside down on one car right now, and working on figuring out how we could pay that down so we could sell it and get something cheaper. My car is actually pretty good for what we purchased it for, but we still, did that on a loan, and but it definitely is worth more than we purchased it for, so we're going to keep making those payments. But altogether we owe $44,370.14 in car loans, so it's a little crazy. We're definitely going to be working on that. I know that Dave Ramsey would tell us that we probably both need to sell our cars and get like beater cars. We're not really ready to make that full step yet, but I think that we'll definitely be working on getting one of the cars lower so we can have less debt to pay off. Last and biggest hurdle that we are going to face is a big student loan that is all my loan, and this is a loan that I accumulated before I got married, and it's really just kind of proof of where I was financially, where I just thought I could use the money to help support me when I was a single mom and I was in graduate school. I worked full time, but it was really hard to make ends meet sometimes, so I decided that I would use the money to help me live during the time. So now all of that loan is coming due. A small portion of it is my undergrad, about $3,000 that I just need to pay off, and I've just been paying the minimum payments for a long time. But the other portion is pretty big and a little scary. But for student loans, we are going to have to pay off $52,978.94. So there's no real way around it. Even if you filed bankruptcy, you owe your student loans, and it's just something we're going to have to deal with. My husband was aware that I had student loans before we got married. I don't know if he knew the extent of how big it was. Those are just things that we did not discuss before we got married, which I think will be a whole nother video that I will do at another point in time, because we are a blended family and we were in a different financial mindset and kind of state when we got married. Just thinking, we'll just deal with those things later. And now it's kind of coming around to really becoming a reality that we're going to have to pay that off at some point. So I'm hoping that this Dave Ramsey baby steps is going to help us. We're going to attempt to do it with a debt snowball, and that is something that I'll talk about in another video coming soon. And whenever I do that video, I will definitely put it up in this video as well, so you can see that. But that is where we are with our debt-free journey, and we are really at the very beginning of it, and I just am going to work with my husband really hard on putting together our debt snowball, but also starting with baby step 1, which is to save $1,000 for our emergency fund. So we are going to go on to the debt snowball and see how that is going to go for us. So that is kind of the update of where we are right now on our journey, and I look forward to sharing more videos with you guys and more information about how we're doing. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like videos like this, definitely subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you guys soon. See ya.